Well, hello, children of the night. What poetry we make. Hey! What's shakin', spooky season lovers? I am definitely throwing it together under the wire a bit, I'm afraid, this evening. But it's okay, because I've had an action-packed night. I wore my shirt. I had to represent. I haven't talked much about this. I've only called it the theater company I belong to. I don't think anyone who is involved minds me repping the brand of debut theater at this point. In fact, I cannot anoint this company with enough praise. I could talk about it for days and days and days, how much it changed my life. And I saw their production of Dracula this evening, so it's pretty crazy. This is my OG shirt. Debut Theater Company presents Dracula, a classic from Bram Stoker. And this shirt is from 20 years ago! And it's crazy because I guess when the company first started up in 1991... they did a production of Dracula. And then several years later, in the year 2000, Conan throwback, I had my life impacted by doing Dracula. And it's crazy because I played Miss Westenra, who is Lucy's mother. And then years later, years and years after that, I think 2007 or 2008, I had the great fortune of playing Lucy. So I've played Lucy and her mother, and I played her mother when I was a teenager, and young Lucy almost 10 years later in my 20s. So, go figure. What a trip. What a trip. It's just it's the exact same script, word for word. The girl who played me, it was like, I was a step ahead of her. Every line that came out of her mouth, I was like, ooh, I know her next line. I know it. It's still there in the vault of my mind. What? And I got to wear my super amazing vampire pants, you know. Yes. Do a dance for the vampire pants. Oh, speaking of feeling old, my knee just cracked enormously. That's okay. And I'm in my Morticia Adams chair. Because... all's fair in love and neck biting, you know. So I busted this baby out, my sweet vampire grill for the show. And this theater company impacted my life more than anyone knows. I can't even put it into words. It swerved me the direction of where my life was gonna go. And tonight was a reflection of all that. And whoa, it was a lot. It was a lot of feelings. So this is a bit thrown together. I wish that I could really take the time, and I probably will write more about these experiences and this company. I've mentioned it here and there in the people that I was with and first loves and, oh gosh, just velvet gloves and first loves and who knows what else. All kinds of wonder. I mean, gosh, just all these memories came flooding back to me tonight. I choreographed this crazy dance with my best friend to a hyped up, sped up version of Mamma Mia. It was like techno Mamma Mia. That was like, Mamma Mia, oons, oons, oons. And I like choreographed the whole thing, and the whole theater company, all of these youngsters, all of us rapscallions, I taught them, and they knew the whole dance, and we would do it at Tech Week before performances, and we would do it to like shake off the willy-nillys and the tensions before the show. And the shrine, oh god, there's this shrine. I should have asked to go backstage and see it. It's like people are so unused to being around each other, you know, and we got a mask mandate back because no one's listening. So COVID continues to impact everyone because no one's treating it seriously anymore, or still continuously not treating it seriously. But you know, so it's like we're so not used to engaging with one another anymore that it feels strange. It just does. And I just wanted it to keep going. I wanted to keep winding down this memory lane. and the essence of it, the portal of it was insane. It just really took me there. Gosh, yes, wow, holy goodness. Holy jet black vampire bride hair. It was a really interesting evening. So I got to peer into the past, and it really was a blast. But yeah, we had this shrine, and I helped to contribute many parts of it. I remember, like, when we did Sherlock Holmes, one of my good friends at the time wore these big, huge fake boobs as the maid, and they were made out of rice and pantyhose, and I believe one of the boobs is still in the shrine. Just these things that have stood the test of time and meant so much to us, and that's just who I am. Who I am is a debut kid, and I always will be, just infinitely. I'm always going to be a debut kid. That's me. I haven't grown out of that phase. I have done things that I've been paid for, and who cares? They pale in comparison to that world. So, it was really fun to have that exact replica perfectly reenacted, unfurled before me. Was just like, there it is! There's the set, and the door's opened by magic, and ours did that too. The garden doors swing open, and the smoke flows in, and Dracula comes, and it's just, it was perfection. So I put this together after seeing this production tonight of the exact same script, exact same show that I did so many wolf howling moons ago. And I will try to translate some of that feeling here to you. So, I can't take title. I can't take title for the credit. I can't take credit. Can't take credit for the title, you see. It was, they all had face masks printed that said Drac is back, and I just thought that was so clever and cute. And gosh, being a young person and navigating what the world is right now, wow. Amazing. I mean, I thought that it's like when I was a young person, when I was in debut, we experienced Columbine happening and these signs of the times that we've all become kind of numb to. But now it's like they're living in a fully fledged new paradigm. It rattles the mind. So I'm going to try to translate what I felt tonight, but I know I'm not going to do it justice because I simply didn't have enough time to pull all that is flooding my mind right now and put it into the format of poetry. But maybe you'll see a glimpse of what I felt tonight. Through the red, smoky light coming from Carfax Castle. Coming from Carfax Castle, where Dracula now resides. He's coming to hide after being in the Carpathian Mountains. God, it brought back so much. I'm so touched by the interactions that I had tonight. So, here we go. I'll try to enlighten you to what it was like. So, tonight's poem is called Drac is Back. Tonight, I time traveled. Memories unraveled from a version of Dracula I acted in 20 years ago. Watching the same show with a verbatim script flipped my reality upside down. The profound nostalgia gripped me with the enchantment and a kind of sad sense that I haven't felt that I belonged like that beyond that past tense. Condensed 10 years that went so quickly, with no awareness on my part of just how swiftly a decade was capable of passing, let alone the capability of grasping the passage of 2. Tonight I peered through mirrored gateways to the presence I claimed on that very same stage, and the emotions of it are difficult to gauge. I turned the page on my youth before anyone bothered to tell me the truth of how sacred it really was. Tonight I was all buzzed by the enthusiasm of these young actors, their faces so proud of the work they had done. I wanted to hand them all the lump sum of wisdom I've gained and the pain that was required to gather it. I was inspired by the way they beamed, as though in a lovely dream they told me how wonderful my energy is. Their vibrance was so alive, and I couldn't get my fill. One of them deeply and sincerely called me so chill. It's making my evening, still, the way her words were so deeply meant. I suddenly resent the adult interactions I'm forced to partake in. The fake grins, the dull replies, the light drained from the eyes of those in my age bracket. The racket we make of busy work and the constant threat of our perceived life achievements at stake. That nervous, fidgety rigidity is more than I can take. I want to shake it all off and be playful again. Laugh with friends and lift each other through sheer respect and love. I didn't know growing up would shove me around so much. I verbally told these young people tonight to clutch tight to their youthfulness. Do not grow up, I told them. I must confess I would not recommend it. It's a vacuous pit of terrible pressure and stressors. Other adults view people who maintain their imaginative brain as being lesser. But that's all a lie and a trap. If anyone tries to shave off bits of your imagination, fight hard to take those bits back. Dracula, with his long black fingernails, unveiled a charming and warm personality in his human actor form, and hung on my every word. The waves of reminiscence were so potent, it was absurd. The present blurred, and I wanted to cure my 30-something melancholy by going out for ice cream after the show like we did back in the day. Back when being in a play was enough accomplishment to make me feel content and complete. Now every single thing I do feels like a bunch of humans shoved together, forced to compete and surpass one another by any means. After immersing myself in these familiar scenes of gargoyled pillars and scream after scream getting shriller and shriller as the plot thickened, as the pace quickened and familiar character quotes floated through the familiarly sweet-smelling fog machine smoke, I choked back tears of disbelief and awe, and my jaw hurt from smiling for such a prolonged stretch. I could barely catch my breath. I was so dazzled by these young performers and the fact that my own experience in their literal shoes seemed just back around the corner of the road of time. How rapidly it winds to find us looking back in disbelief. I admit, meeting the girl who played my character made me feel some grief for that former me. I wonder who I would be had it not been for my propensity for the dramatic. If I'd let the static of depression stifle my creative expression. There's no question that debut theater formed my personality and life trajectory. The directors and students there were my family, and they protected me. Being treated like a human instead of like a child affected me so positively. I witnessed this evening how cooperatively this new generation of debut stars are learning to be. Collaboration and respect are key. Traits that most of humanity seems to be forgetting. The rarity of stepping into a setting decorated perfectly to illustrate a scene from your past is such a gift and was such a blast. This cast delivered in spades, and I could have talked to each and every one of them for days. The 3 decades of actors and creators in this company have paved a way for others to keep theater thriving, come what may, in this constantly shifting world. The hope and excitement of these teenage actors swirled around the theater, and their faces during the uproarious applause couldn't have been sweeter. The girl who played the character I had played was an absolute gem when I got to meet her. I teetered between longing for my days in the spotlight before the fight of bills and finances, and a joyous, lucky feeling of being so hypnotized by this lucky revisitation of that standing ovation high. And even though the years flew by, I cried more happy tears than sad ones, and still felt young while realizing I'm far from done chasing the buzz of those applause and the raw emotions that come from that perfect potion of a piece of wonderful art mixed with passionate hearts who act well their parts and jumpstart the energy of everyone in proximity. I'm grateful for all that the theater has given me, and for having mentors who didn't minimize or limit me. I'm grateful for their guidance infinitely. Yeah, got me in my vapors there on that one for sure, and I'm wearing makeup for the first time in like a while, so it's hurting me to feel all those memories. So, wow. All I can say is wow. I sat there in the audience wishing that I had abundant finances to just make movies with all these young people. They were so unequaled in their energy and just abundantly giving of what they possess. And full of yes, where so much of the world's energy and mentality has felt like no to me. And it was so nice to be saturated by that much yes. I was just truly blessed by the company of performers that showed me former versions of me hiding in the velvet folds of the curtains. I just am quite certain that they're all headed for great things. I just remember waiting in the wings for my chance to go on and enhance the moment in any way I could. And even the show that I had no lines when I was Beaufort in The Hobbit, and I so wanted to be the beautiful elven queen, but I was Beaufort. And I am damn sure that I stood out in that play more than a lot of the characters who had lines, because I took it and I said, okay, I don't have any lines, so I'm going to make this the most damn fine hobbit that anyone has ever seen, and I am just going to steal the scenes. That's it. I'm going to do it. And gosh, just the dreams I still have about being in these plays where everything is the same, and I can feel the stage lights and smell that stage fog. It smells like sugary syrup in the air, and just all the jokes, all the inside jokes, and the fire that we all stoked within one another. The facets of our personalities that were uncovered. by being in the presence of people who believed in us and would not allow us to turn away from ourselves or doubt ourselves or hide or say no. Because it was like on with the show, you know? And it wasn't just in this adult way that's like, pull up your bootstraps, on with the show. It was like, no, the play is the thing. The show is like the show. And we don't gotta like pray to the shrine that it's gonna blow everybody's minds. And we did. We did. You know, in my recollection of it, pretty much every time we blew their minds. So, wow. Yeah. It's just a really special realm that I got to spread my wings in and reliving it tonight in that uber specificity of like, oh my God, that was me. Like, that was me. And those are the words I said. And even that costume is the same. And wow, like, just, yeah, took my brain there, took me there, took all of me there. And the level of care that these young people have for what they do. I haven't felt that from an adult, you guys. I haven't felt those feelings from an adult. That level of like heart and presence and showing up for something in a minute. Like, it's been a minute since I felt the adulthood that I've withstood for almost 20 years since I did this play. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Just not the same. They're grown-ups. It's just not the same. And I don't know why we become so dull and so tame about what makes us talk at that volume. That's like that. And I got to talk at that volume today where I was like, oh my God, you guys, you think I'm cool? I think you're so cool. And I just related so much more to these youths. They carry truths that I think the older you get, you kind of let slip out of your pockets. And yeah, my eyes were bulging out of my sockets with excitement about being around that energy again. That's just, you love your friends and your friends love you and you're supporting one another and you're uncovering magic together. Like, shoot. That's what tethered me to motivation. And now it's just like struggle bus station. Oh, constant, undeniable frustration. It's like, So, anyway, I told them all, I was like, I don't mean to scare you, but just stay young. I dare you. Just don't let it happen. Don't let the growing up happen to you. I know people are gonna like insist that it has to, but just say no. Just flatly reject it. You have your imagination. Please protect it. That was what I tried to gift to them. And they gifted a lot to me as well. My gosh, they were so enthusiastic. It was just so charming. They were all like, there was a whole bundle of them clumped around me, and they were like listening to me, valuing me, and I don't feel that much these days. Like, oh, you're really here with me, and you're hearing me. And it was a joy. It was an absolute gift. So I am uplifted from that. And I remembered one of my lines. I just remembered my whole character coming back to me going, a bat! A bat! I like added like 6 extra syllables to the word bat. A bat! What? A bat! And it was just so funny hearing it again. Hearing make pretend become real, and the things that are real fading back behind the scenes to allow room for the more luscious dreams to take the lead, to take over. So gosh, I'm gonna go to bed and let visions of theatrical wonderment dance in my head, and see my mood ring is so bright, and it's been so damn cloudy, but tonight allowed me to get that blue-green shimmer back in the old mood ring glimmer. Yeah, my dimmer switch has kind of been on, you know? I hate to admit that. It's been kind of, and it was so nice to feel it go, and speak at that volume where it's like, my enthusiasm isn't being crushed or shushed. What a rush! It was such a good feeling. So, thank you, debut players, for that healing. It was really such a treat, and so cool to meet so many of you and shift my point of view, which has been stagnated and zoomed in on that adult stuff. Bleh. Bleh. So, just forget it. Just, when it comes at you, just say, no thank you. Wow, yeah. What a great event. It just meant so much to me. So, thanks for being here. And hey, I've got an idea. I'll do some more poetry for ya tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. Hey, thanks for joining me, children of the night, for the sweet poetry and music I make. So good. I don't drink wine. Never gets old. Never gets old. Okay, so happy blood sucking, and I'm so lucky I get to have these youths plucking the memories right from my head and making a spread of them before me on a great banquet table of scary candelabras. Okay, I'm still swimming in it, so I just keep words coming out because I'm just in it. Yeah, it was magic. It was magic. So here's to keeping the magic part going and slowing up on the, I'm so inadequate, how did I get to be in my 30s? Blah, I'm short-circuiting. Just more magic. Because if you don't have magic, that is tragic indeed. Okay? So come on back to me. More poetry. Guaranteed.